Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Just wonderful to have you along for the ride. I see people in the chat already. Thank you guys for joining me early. And just let me know, because, again, a little equipment change. I sound okay in my headphones. I just want to make sure I sound okay in general. So just let me know. All right. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name is Mark Farzetta. The Phillies win last night. They come back from 4-0. 2 home runs by Matt Olson. Christopher Sanchez didn't have his best stuff, but in no means was terrible last night. Certainly labored in his start. But was charged for 2 earned runs, 4 runs in total, and the Phillies came up with some pretty huge swings, courtesy of Brandon Marsh and Nick Castellanos. Is it Nick Castellanos' turn to save the season? Because I think we can add that to the list with Marsh's catch in Seattle, Schwarber's grand slam, the infield lip of the grass. I guess it would be the interior infield lip of the grass at Kauffman Stadium. And now Nick Castellanos' 2-run home run. Or maybe you credit Brandon Marsh for getting the bats going on what was a very slow night. It really felt like a loss. One of the great things about this Phillies team for most of the season, I guess, has been you always feel like they can come back. You always feel like, oh, you can blink and all of a sudden they have a 4-run inning, 5-run inning, whatever the case might be. And they haven't really done that in a while. Now they're down 4-0. It did feel like it has felt at other points of this season, recent points of this season, where a 4-0 lead feels like a 20-run to no-run lead. And the Phillies found a way to come back. And the series came, and I was not expecting that in the least bit. So we will go through that game. We'll let you hear from Rob Thompson after the game, what he had to say. We have some Eagles news they have to talk about. Oh, my goodness gracious. The Philadelphia Eagles start their season 1 week from today. 1 week from today, the Philadelphia Eagles will be in a little country called Brazil, which is actually a huge country, in a little town called São Paulo. If you didn't see him, Gabriel Bessa, Eagles fan in Brazil, from Brazil, became an Eagles fan in 2009. Saw that they won no – I still love that. He saw that the Eagles had won no Super Bowls. He was like, yep, I'm sold. And he jumped on with the Eagles. He just fell in love with them after they destroyed the Giants in one game. That was the year the Eagles lost to the Cowboys at the end of the season and then lost to the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. That was the banjo game in Dallas. Donovan McNabb playing banjo. Okay. And he was like, yeah, more of this, please. And he stuck with them. God bless him. We'll talk about Brazil, obviously. We'll talk about this Eagles offense, what it's going to look like. Because Devontae Smith, when he was addressing the media yesterday, I found what he was saying to be really interesting. Like, I'm extremely excited to watch this Eagles offense. I think most people are excited to see this. I mean, most people are excited to see the Eagles in general. But just in terms of the Kellen Moore offense with these weapons, oh, my goodness gracious, this is going to be incredible. But we haven't seen it. There's just one problem. We haven't seen it yet. In no way, shape, or form, other than training camp, practice. Other than practice, we haven't seen anything. That's all we have been talking about, a practice. That's right. Not a game, practice. Devontae Smith, you could see the eagerness to get out there. I also thought it was interesting that as eager as we are, we think the Eagles are that eager as well. The Eagles haven't even started game planning yet for the Green Bay Packers, according to Devontae Smith yesterday. That struck me as odd, I guess, just because I think we're all on the edge of our seats going, all right, let's kick this off. Let's go. And Devontae's like, yeah, we played Friday? Oh, we haven't even done anything yet. That's incredible. Oh, wow, Friday? All right. Also, speaking of Brazil, A.J. Brown talks about the don't meeting. Now, what's the don't meeting? The don't meeting is, hey, when we go to Brazil, don't do this, don't do that. So A.J. Brown's philosophy was, I think I'm just going to go down there, try to win a football game, and then stay in my hotel room and then come back home, which I think is I think it's absolutely the right mentality to have if you're a player in that situation. So we'll hear from A.J. Brown. We'll hear from Devontae Smith. We'll hear from Rob Thompson. As far as going back to the Phillies as well, the Phillies could really not – it would be impossible. Like, other than giving Taijuan Walker a contract extension right now, The Phillies could not handle this Taijuan Walker situation worse than how they're handling it right now. Again, the only way it could be worse is to be like, you know what? We actually really love what we've seen from Taijuan Walker. We decided to do a 5-year deal. That would be worse. Second to that would be putting him in the bullpen. This is – so you're admitting that he can no longer start games for you. You're admitting this. We all agree that he can no longer start games. What he was signed to do, what he's being paid $18 million to do, he can't do. So instead of just shutting him down and then hoping next year you can bring him back out there as a much better pitcher, he had a chance to reset mentally, physically after 2 separate IL stints, you say, no, he's still going to pitch though. He's still going to pitch for us, for Philadelphia. Really? Now, this is insane to me because I think the Phillies have such an easy red carpet rolled out in front of them of a path laid out in front of them that's so easy to take and so obvious to take. They're just not taking it, and I don't get it. Instead, they're complicating it more. So I was like, okay, all right. I really do have a lot of respect for Dave Dombrowski and his career. The guy's going to the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's just that. I think you go to 5 World Series across 4 different cities: Detroit, Boston, and Miami, and Philadelphia. He's been to a World Series. I think you do that, you're going to get in the Hall of Fame, and you've won 3 World Series. So yeah, I think you're going to get in the Hall of Fame. I have so much respect for him. But I remember years and years ago, I remember a caller on WIP. This is before I was ever there. I was still in college. And I remember a caller calling in, talking about an email exchange they had with the late, great Phil Jasner of the Daily News. And I understand the Jasner family just went through another awful loss, and my heart goes out to them. But I met Phil one time, and he was just such a gentleman, a great guy. And this story had stuck out in my head even before I had met him. And the caller said that they were emailing back he was emailing back and forth with Phil Jasner, and he asked Phil Jasner about Larry Brown and Derek Coleman. And he's like, everyone sees Derek Coleman sucks. Why is Derek Coleman back with the Sixers? And Phil Jasner responded, and I'll never forget this. And I hope it's a true story because this lives rent-free in my head. Every coach has a blind spot. Every coach is someone that they look at and go, no. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy has got one of them. This guy is going to go out there. He's going to show you how good a player he is. And even if they never really show anyone how good a player they are, every single coach, manager, whatever, they have it in their head that this guy's got it. And even if they don't got it, they'll be like, no, they're going to figure it out. You wait and see. It's like a favorite child syndrome. I don't know. And I think that Taijuan Walker has become Dave Dombrowski's blind spot. Like we're showing you the mounting evidence that Taijuan Walker is unfit to pitch for the Phillies, whether that be in the bullpen or whether that be in the rotation. Unfit. Please stop as soon as humanly possible. Now, Colby Allard can't come up until a couple of days, really, with September call-ups and all that stuff. But here's my thought process. Again, because I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Dave Dombrowski is a good baseball man. He hasn't had a great year by any means, but overall, his track record speaks for itself. So what are we doing here? What am I missing? And I was thinking, is this only going to be for a week or two before they can really get Colby Allard, integrated and all that stuff? They need someone to start because they could go a while now without needing that 5th starter. Almost 2 weeks exactly. So is this just something that over the next 2 weeks, if they need someone to come in, if, say, even Zach Wheeler gets shelled, or Aaron Nola, or Christopher Sanchez, or Ranger Suarez, and they need someone to come in and be like, all right, this game's lost, and we don't want to burn any arms that matter. So Taijuan, come in here and take on 4 innings. Can you do that? Is that what this is? And then they shut him down? Because, I don't want to keep him on the roster if it means that you could get somebody else ready to help you in the postseason, which in all of this, and what I have yelled and screamed into this microphone about, is that it makes no sense because it's not like you're trying to get Taijuan Walker ready to pitch for you in the postseason. Here's my analytical statement on this. Okay, ready? It's been so highbrow. I hope you guys don't think I'm trying to be smug, but Taijuan Walker sucks. And last year he was okay. He wasn't good, wasn't great, but he was okay. And still, Taijuan Walker didn't start for you in the playoffs last year. He didn't pitch for you in the playoffs last year. And now, currently, he sucks. So, I know this might be speaking over people's heads, so I'm really sorry. I don't want to do that. I don't like being highbrow. You know what I mean? And so he sucks, and you're going to, get him better over a month to help you in the playoffs? Because, again, last year, he was okay. He didn't pitch for you. And then this year, with him doing all the sucking, that doesn't lend itself to make me believe that he's going to pitch for you in the postseason this year. So, do I have to mansplain that? Do we got it? We all. He's not good at his job. He shouldn't be doing the job, even if you're changing the job a little bit. So the only way you could justify this a little bit to me is that in the near future, Taijuan Walker is shut down for the year. He's put on like the 60-day IL or whatever, done for the season because of nagging injuries or whatever, and you're not going to use him anyway. And you could use that roster spot for actually someone that could not suck. I think we cracked the code there. I think we cracked the code. So that's what we have. That's actually everything I have on Taijuan Walker. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So, yeah, we got the Eagles to get into. We got the Phillies to dissect for last night's victory. Last night's come from behind victory and how much fun that was. I know a lot of you yesterday. I appreciate you. A lot of you guys hit me up for my new responsibilities for football season. I told you it was going to be with some familiar faces. I am going to be on the pre- and post-game show with Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn live from Bet Parks, live from Parks Casino in Ben Salem, my old stomping ground, sort of. Bucks County here. And, so I'm going to be on with my friends Derek Gunn and Seth Joyner. It will be my fifth season working with Derek Gunn on Eagles Game Day, dating back to our time at NBC Sports Philadelphia. And it'll be my fourth season working with Seth Joyner. And I am beyond thrilled to do that. Two of the best in the business. There's some plans to have some guests on throughout the season. So stay tuned for that. But you guys can catch us on Seth Joyner Seth Joyner channel on YouTube, 6abc.com, and really across all social media platforms. So thank you for everyone that reached out after the announcement came out yesterday. Finally, I know we've been teasing it for quite some time. So I do appreciate you guys following me along with all of that. All right, hey, I know I just unpacked a lot over the first 13 minutes of the show, but let's really jump into it now. Your Philadelphia Phillies. First off, let me just give this stat. I found myself looking up some statistics. Now, these are real statistics. These aren't just me telling you a guy sucks. I didn't realize this. The Phillies overall in the season, where does this put you guys like mentally? Okay, the Phillies are the seventh best team in all of baseball in home runs per at bat. They're the seventh best team in all of baseball in home runs per at bat. They hit a home run every 29 at bats. That's the seventh best in the big leagues. Now, over the course of this month in August, going into yesterday, the Phillies had only hit a home run every 37 at-bats. You're seventh best in baseball for the season. You're 27th best for the month of August. And I don't know if you've noticed, August is almost over. So that month is pretty much in the books. So I'm watching this game yesterday, and I'm like, man, I can just go for a home run. It feels like the Phillies have dried up in the home run well and all that stuff. And then I look at it, I was like, let me look this up. So I go on MLB.com, and I beep up, punch it up, and I was like, holy Stromboli, they are 27th this month in home runs per at bat, and they're 7th overall in the season. That's terrible. Well, this team ain't coming back. Wah, wah. And sure enough, the Phillies get out there with the two big home runs. But leading up to that, here's what I got to tell you about last night's game. I do the top four things, top three things, the three big things on Phillies postcast on Locked On Sports Philadelphia after every game. If I could do a top four things, it would be Christopher Sanchez. I would have Christopher Sanchez as number 4 because although he was not great last night, he still gave it 5 2/3. He still battled through his start. He gave up home runs to one hell of a hitter in Matt Olson that we all know. But he kept on battling. If you look at his pitch counts throughout the game last night, 20 pitches in the first inning, 15, he gave up a double, an RBI double to Arcia there in the second inning, 15 in the second inning, 25 in the third, settled in the fourth inning with 11 pitches. In the fifth inning, he only threw 12. So he definitely settled in as the game went on. And then he got rocked a wee bit by the second home run of Olson in the sixth inning that made it a 4-0 game. But he scattered, for the most part, the 7 hits that he allowed. 2 of the runs that were scored were unearned thanks to an error by Trey Turner. What the hell, Trey Turner? And the Phillies didn't do much defensively to help him out, unfortunately. But he still went out there and he gave you a chance to win. After him, the other arms that threw for you last night, Orion Kerkering, Matt Strahm, and Jeff Hoffman were perfect. Your bullpen was perfect last night. And Orion Kerkering last night threw a curveball to Marcell Ozuna in the, was it the 7th inning that he faced Ozuna? Yes. 7th inning, Kerkering came out in the 6th inning, got one batter, got the final out, finished that off for Christopher Sanchez. Got Williams to fly out to right field. Then Kerkering pitched the top of the 7th inning. He got Merrifield to fly out to right. He struck out Soler, and then Marcell Ozuna struck out on a nasty curveball. That Marcell Ozuna corkscrewed himself into the ground with trying to flail away at that pitch. And then the Phillies came out in the 4th inning and got the home run from Castellanos. But the bullpen last night was fantastic. Matt Strahm had that battle with Laureano where he struck him out, a 10-pitch at bat featuring 6 foul balls. A 10-pitch at bat that was a 1-2 count, okay? Strahm started out 0-2, and then Laureano, give him all the credit in the world, battled for 8 more pitches, took 1 ball, and then finally, just barely couldn't hold up his check swing, and he got called out on strikes in that manner for a 10-pitch at bat with 6 foul balls. Matt Strahm, ladies and gentlemen, kept battling. And then threw a nasty slider. He also threw that nasty slider to Matt Olson to start out the inning, and Matt Olson was just like, it looked like as it traveled through the air, that slider from Matt Strahm looked like honestly a 40-mile-per-hour pitch that just was never arriving at home plate. And it looked like it started out 10 feet off and then just slowly broke off into the strike zone, and Olson just flailed away at it. Then he hits d'Arnaud. By the way, just on a side note, I need to admit something. I'm a humble man. I don't think I've ever spelled Travis d'Arnaud's last name correctly on my first attempt in my notes. I don't think it's ever happened. I always mix up the A and the U. The lowercase a too sometimes. Like I always messed it up. Anyway, Travis d'Arnaud gets hit by the pitch. Then Laureano has the battle, and then Harris slides out to center field, deep center field, to get out of that. And then Jeff Hoffman came in and shut it down in the 9th inning. So great, good job by Sanchez battling through. Great job by the bullpen. And then number 2 on my list was Brandon Marsh's home run. Obviously, a 3-run dinger. The Phillies needed some surge of life. And here's the thing: before Marsh's home run last night, the Phillies had a leadoff runner on in the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th inning. Leadoff runner on. Never brought anybody around to score in those first 5 innings of work. 4 of those innings, you had a leadoff runner on. 6 times in those first 4 innings, you had runners in scoring position, and you got nothing. That was another thing. Like you're on the doorstep, baby. Make something happen. Nothing happening. 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position in the first 4 innings. Leadoff runner on in 4 of the 5 of the first innings. Nothing. And then finally, the 6th inning, after you're already down 4-0, Nick Castellanos leads it off with a single to left field. Then where'd I go there? Stott strikes out, unfortunately. He had been walking all night, and then he strikes out. Real Muto gets a hit. All right, 2 runners on, another runner in scoring position. Let's go. Let's party. And Brandon Marsh gets a curveball. I know we always talk about the phrase hanging curveball. This didn't feel like a hanging curve. I feel like hanging curveballs still come down eventually, but slowly, and then they get mashed. This, to me, was like a flat curveball. Like it arced and then just kept going straight. You call that a hanging curveball? Sure. To me, it just looked a little different. Marsh, outer half of the plate. Marsh puts the barrel down, pops it out there to left field, over the wall, 3-run home run, 382 feet, 4-3 now. All of a sudden, it's a 1-run game in the 6th inning. They take out Morton. For whatever reason, they don't go to the lefty to face Marsh, even though Morton's pitch count was up there. Snicker, all right, you do you, pal. By the way, does anyone else only have Brian Snicker in their head with the mask like half over his face? Because that's still, during COVID, that was still like him arguing with the umpires. Still funny to me. Anyway, Marsh goes up there. It's the home run. Everything's great. It's 4-3. It's a 1-run ball game. And then Schwarber grounds out the second to end that threat once Palmer came in. Then in the 7th inning, Turner leads off. He gets on base. Good start. Harper lays down a bunt. No question he was bunting for a single. He was thrown out on a phenomenal play by Bummer. Got it, turn around, fired at first. Just barely beat Bryce Harper. But Trey Turner reached second. So he advanced the runner at least. Then Holmes comes in to face Sosa. Sosa grounds out to third. Turner, this is interesting. Could have been the second out of the inning. But Luke Williams, who's playing third in place of the injured Austin Riley, one of the many Braves injured, Luke Williams, instead of getting Turner, who was going, instead of getting him in a rundown, he just throws across the field and gets the one out. Turner takes third. So they got a runner on third with 2 outs. Instead of potentially having just Sosa at first and tagging Turner out, he throws first. Whatever. I'll take advantage of that mistake. So now you got a runner on base still, either way. Nick Castellanos steps up to the plate, and he is facing Holmes in this situation, right-handed pitcher. Holmes buzzes a 95-mile-per-hour fastball inside to Nick Castellanos. That when I saw Nick Castellanos swing, I was like, if that's contact, that's 420 feet into left field with the way he swung. And then it lives in, speaking of things that live in my head rent-free, when I see a pitch like that and I see a batter just miss that pitch, it's Bull Durham. Give me another one of those, meat. And Holmes is meat in this situation. And Holmes buzzes another 95-mile-per-hour fastball inside to Nick Castellanos. This one just a little bit more towards the middle of the plate. And Castellanos blasts it 417 feet for a 2-run, go-ahead, later game-winning home run off the bat of Nick Castellanos. I'm here for it every single time. Nick Castellanos, another huge home run for the Phillies in the last 2 weeks. Keep it coming, Nick Castellanos. Just like that, the Phillies are in front. Bang, bang, boom. And then the bullpen took over after that. It was fantastic. So this is a team that was down 4-0. This was a team that was unable to get hits with runners in scoring position. And by the 3rd inning, your cleanup hitter, Alec Boehm, is not in the game any longer. Alec Boehm in the 1st inning had a kind of an awkward swing. The way they described it after the game was, it was weird. It was just a weird thing where he swung the bat and had a little something go on in his wrist, his hand, whatever. And they were like, all right, we're going to put him out there in the field. They put him out there in the field, and he was not good. It was not good. Or, sorry, he stayed out there in the game. In the 1st inning, finished his at-bat, grounded out to second. And then he played defense in the 2nd inning, and they're like, can't do this. Take him out. They took him out. X-rays were negative, so that's good. But you're now without Alec Boehm, who I know hasn't been hitting the cover off the ball lately, but still you're without your cleanup hitter, and Mundo Sosa is all of a sudden your cleanup hitter. And the Phillies go on to score 5 runs without a guy who's trying to get 100 RBIs for the first time in his career, and that's Alec Boehm. So unfortunately, you lose him, but they found a way to get other guys to contribute. Brandon Marsh and Nick Castellanos. Here for it every single time. After the game, Rob Thompson addressed the media, and he was asked about whether or not this was the biggest or best win of the season.
I think so. Down 4-0 in this type of series, and the guys just kept coming. I thought the at-bats were pretty good all night. We've got Morton's pitch count up pretty good. I don't think we chased all that much. 6 walks, 8 strikeouts. They just kept battling.
What did you like?
Kept on fighting, kept on battling. That's why HK always called them the Fighting Phils. Ronaldo Lopez gets the ball. Righty versus lefty as Ranger Suarez gets the ball for your Philadelphia Phillies. 6:40 start time again tonight in South Philadelphia. The Mets last night. Oh, the Phillies, by the way. 6 games back up on the Braves. The Mets beat the Diamondbacks, which I'm happy about. Pete Alonso, he either tied or passed. I think he passed Mike Piazza for the third most home runs in Mets franchise history. But the Mets beating the Diamondbacks, I feel fantastic about because the Arizona Diamondbacks need to slow down as soon as humanly possible. And if the Mets heat up, they've fine with me. It doesn't bother me any. So that's how I feel about that. What are you doing? You haven't said hello in a while. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? What are you doing?
Hello.
Wait, there you are. Oh, hello?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say hi.
Hi.
Can you say go birds? You want to talk, you remember rounding the bases? You want to talk about how you rounded the bases the other day? Did you beat Daddy to home plate?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you did. Thanks a lot. You're supposed to let your pops win. All right, you're still yawning? Get out of here.
No.
All right, fine. So, yeah. Lotus has made the entrance. What's going on?
When are you going to be done?
In I don't know, 20 minutes? Yeah, man. And then I got a Fox hit I got to do today. So I'm leaving, man. Deuces. All right. Thank you very much. Love you. Was that English? All right. Hit the bricks. Anyway. I don't even know who that was. All right. Hey, the Eagles, they got some stuff going on too, right? Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, both addressed the media yesterday. Before I get to what they had to say, there was a quote going around from Jalen Hurts. And I read this quote, and I did not have the same take on it as my man Dan Sileo. Yesterday, I was on Dan Sileo's program. And Dan's take on this quote was different than mine. I didn't say, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. The quote is, again, this is from WIP. Jalen Hurts was talking about Jason Kelce. And he said, basically last year and throughout his career, obviously, we had a great player in Jason Kelce who took a lot of the responsibility of blitzing, picking up the blitz. And as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn over the years kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different, and I'm excited for that journey and this opportunity. There's more to it. Like that would, I think, lead anybody to believe that he's not throwing Cam Jurgens under the bus. He's not taking shots at Jason Kelce to paint a picture of Jason Kelce telling Jalen Hurts, it's just you do what I say. You know what I mean? I don't think that paints that picture at all. What I get is that this coaching staff has failed. Well, I should say previous coaching staffs have failed Jalen Hurts. You can't tell me that Jalen Hurts wants to call opposing defensive coordinators to understand the blitz better, but doesn't want to learn about the blitz. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't want to learn how to pick up the blitz better. So some people's take on Jalen Hurts calling Wink Martindale was that he threw his coaching staff under the bus. Maybe they deserve to be thrown under the bus. If you're Nick Sirianni if you're Brian Johnson, if you're Shane Steichen, and you're telling Jalen Hurts, don't even worry about learning. You have Jason Kelce. Well, you should say, oh, wait, how old is Jason Kelce? How old is Jalen Hurts? Is Jason Kelce going to outlast Jalen Hurts? Oh, no, and it's not going to be close? Like Jalen Hurts is going to have like 10 or 15 more years in the league, if not more, without Jason Kelce? Then maybe he should learn from get-go how to pick up a blitz, how to shift protection, how to communicate with his center, how to let his center know what's what. Now, I have heard, and I told you guys about this interview because it was a wild interview of so many worlds colliding. Jason Kelce went on the Fly on a Wall podcast with Dana Carvey of Saturday Night Live fame and Wayne's World fame as well. One of my favorite movies. And David Spade. Okay, those are two guys that I would never say, oh, you know who I'd like to hear interview Jason Kelce? David Spade and Dana Carvey. Okay? But they were asked about protecting. They actually did a really good job with the interview. And Dana Carvey actually asked them a question about blitz protection. And I was like, what the hell? I didn't see that coming. And Jason Kelce's answer was, look, it's always going to come down to the quarterback. The quarterback has final say. So he at least opened it up to that. Like, it's not like, oh, yeah, I have to do that for Jalen all the time because he was told to stop. You know, it wasn't like that. He talked about good communication between himself and his quarterback, but the quarterback is going to be able to overrule the center. I don't know how often that happened, and I'm sure that Jason Kelce also doesn't want to paint a picture of, I got to do everything for Jalen and hold his hand. So I don't think it's anything crazy to think about Jalen Hurts and this Eagles offense now having to adjust to life without Jason Kelce. I mean, that's really what this story is. Like, if I would have told you that Cam Jurgens or that the Eagles were going to have a rookie, essentially, at the position in the NFL, a rookie center, someone who never played the position at the NFL level before, in Cam Jurgens. He's going to come in, he's going to play center for you. He's got no experience shifting the protection. That was all Jason Kelce. Jalen Hurts has experience now, at least communicating with that Hall of Fame center in Jason Kelce. Do you think all of a sudden that's just going to shift to, oh, the center is still going to have that responsibility and a lot more say than the quarterback? No. Jason Kelce didn't even have final say when it came to Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. He might have led the charge through maybe 90% of it, but he still didn't have that final say. That goes to the quarterback. It still goes to the quarterback. But now that the quarterback has more experience than the center, doesn't it make sense for the quarterback to have a little bit more of that responsibility? I actually hope that's the case, especially if it's someone who spent the offseason trying to figure out what the hell defenses were trying to do against him, to the point where in between the end of the regular season and the playoffs, he called Wake Martindale to be like, dude, what were you doing? I can't crack the code. If Nick Sirianni was like, Jalen, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I think that is malpractice. I'm talking about malpractice. To me, when I read that, my eagerness to learn over the years was kind of halted. I could get like, hey, you could just take notes from Jason Kelce and you can learn from him. But in terms of don't even worry about it, I would, if I'm Nick Sirianni, I hear that and I cringe. I go, ugh. Dude, how many times can I be kicked in one offseason? So that was my take on it. That was an indictment more of the coaching staff than anything else. It wasn't an attack on Jason Kelce. I don't think it was an attack on Cam Jurgens. And I don't think it was self-praising at all from Jalen Hurts. I think that was more so telling you that the coaching staff overlooked the situation drastically. And maybe Jalen Hurts being the more elder statesman now, maybe Jalen Hurts being the more experienced of the two between quarterback and center, maybe that means he's going to be taking on a little bit more of that responsibility, and maybe we'll have an expedited learning process. And then also maybe that 95% number, that famous 95% different number by Jalen Hurts that he shouted out a couple of weeks ago, or 2 months ago now, maybe that was part of it. I also have to learn how to shift protection and tell the offensive line what to do. All right. Okay. We'll see how that goes. As far as what the Eagles had going on for themselves yesterday, a bunch of guys addressed the media. First, let's start it off with Devontae Smith. As I mentioned in the start of the show, the Eagles are in an interesting situation where we're all super excited about this offense. I think we're super excited about the team in general. We've seen some defensive starters, most defensive starters. We haven't seen any offensive starters. So where are we on that? How excited is Devontae Smith when it comes to what this offense could be?
What's your vision of this offense right now and what it's going to be when you guys get on the field on Friday? Do you have a feel for that?
Nah, not really. You kind of have to get into the groove of, the game plan and things like that. As right now, we haven't done that yet. We haven't, dug into the game plan. So I feel like when we get there, then I kind of have a clue. But as of right now, we're still in the phase where we're focused on ourselves, still trying to make every individual get better.
We saw you this summer line up inside quite a bit.
Sorry, I meant to cut that earlier. It's just so wild to me that there's so much great anticipation going into this year, and it's like we haven't seen it yet. We need the proof. We need the proof in the pudding. And the Eagles themselves, you would think, like on their edge of the seat. I know it's not abnormal at all to not game plan. Like you want each week to be its own isolated week, but you play a week from today. You'd think there'd be at least a film session or something, because look, I can't remember a time where there was more pressure on a season opener. In all honesty, I can't remember a time where there's more pressure on a season opener, because I can't ever remember a collapse the way the Eagles collapsed from best record in football, number one seed, you're 10-3 or 10-1, and then the collapse. I've seen collapses before, but not like this one. The NFL hadn't even seen a collapse like this since the Jets in the late 80s. Never really good to be on a list with the Jets. But anyway, so that's wild to me. And the amount of pressure that's on this opener to get rid of the demons of last year and reinstall faith in this Eagles offense. Look, I know everything's different coordinator, different coordinators on both sides. The leadership is different without Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey. So you want to reinstall that faith in this team in general, that they can be a juggernaut again. They can be a Super Bowl contender again. And they're not going to choke it away. I mean, even after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and I've referenced this story many times, they got booed off the field at halftime when they played the Falcons when they opened up the following season. Like, there still wasn't as much pressure. They had just won a Super Bowl. They had just lost, 5 of their last 6 games? They scratched and clawed throughout the entire season, including 2 games, one went to overtime and one went to the last minute against the Washington Commanders. Ugh. Got blown out, owned by the San Francisco 49ers. Lost to the Giants, lost to the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon. I can't remember a time where week 1 there was this much pressure on the Eagles to get it right. So game planning as soon as humanly possible makes a lot of sense to me. Anyway, but it is funny because it dawned on me while it was like, yeah, this is all great, but there's one problem. We haven't seen it yet. Now, of course, because they haven't played. Because, of course, they haven't played in the preseason. They're not going to play them in the preseason. I was still rooting for at least Jalen Hurts, Cam Jurgens, and Kellen Moore all to have one series communicating together. But no, hopefully that won't matter and won't be a factor when they're in Brazil. Speaking of Brazil, I missed this story from a couple of weeks ago. Tanner McKee apparently went to Brazil a year ago. Zach Berman was asking the question of A.J. Brown, hey, I heard you were hitting up that guy, Tanner McKee, about Brazil facts. What'd you learn?
Tanner McKee told us a story earlier this summer that last year you found out he spent time in Brazil, and you were asking him a lot of questions about Brazil and Portuguese, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Hey, where did that curiosity come about, and have you focused on Portuguese at all, or tried to learn any Portuguese?
No, because we had a meeting yesterday, and it was like a whole bunch of don't do's, and so I'm just trying to go down there, win a football game, and come back home. That's the best way I could put it.
Remember though, with
Yeah. It's me talking to him and asking a lot of questions. That was my first initial thought. But after hearing all of this stuff, I'm probably gonna be in my room.
Yeah, guys, just hang out in your room. Safest bet. Just hanging out in the room. No problems. Hey, you should just catch the interview I did with Gabriel Bessa yesterday, and you learn some Portuguese. Talk that itch. You know what I'm saying? What a work trip that's got to be. What a work trip that's got to be. Also, worth referencing from yesterday, A.J. Brown worked out with Jahan Dotson in the offseason. Jahan Dotson, I think, reached out to his trainer, and his trainer hit him up and was like, hey, Jahan Dotson wants to work out with you. And A.J. Brown made it a point to say, I don't let anybody work out with me. So that should tell you all you need to know about me letting Jahan Dotson work out with me. So there's that relationship there. Also, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, when they talked about the offense and adding Jahan Dotson, they're just like, there's a lot of weapons, man. There's a lot of guns in the arsenal here. We have a lot of ways to beat you, and that's only going to help everybody else. So I remain. Actually, no, don't even remain. I am increasingly excited. Let's hear what Vic Fangio has to say about it all. Thank you. All right, let me tell you about the great people in the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. You want to go to the concert? You want to go to the comedy show? Sporting event as well. Game Time app has you covered. And how about this? The Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app. Game Time Picks just lets you get through all the muck and get right to the best seats available at the best possible prices. So you don't have to go through the thousands of tickets. You just go to the Game Time app. You go to the Game Time Picks, and you see it. Bada boom, bada bing. Best seats, best price right there. Here's also something I love about the Game Time app, the guaranteed lowest price. If you find tickets in the same section, same row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will refund you 110% of the difference on the Game Time app. That's the Game Time guarantee for lowest price. They also have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So let's say you're going to a concert. You're going to a comedy show. You don't care about the opening act or the middle. Let's say you don't. You just want to see that headliner at the lowest possible price right there, hour after the event starts. Mega huge Kajunga savings on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about our friends over at Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the check and see how you guys are doing on this fine Friday morning. I'm sorry, Thursday morning. No, Friday morning. I'm an idiot. Friday morning. I don't know what I just saw that confused me, but I'm a big dumb idiot. What do I got here in the chat? Hello, everyone. Sean Gillespie, good morning. IBH, what's popping? IBH, really nice talk with Gabriel Bessa yesterday, Farzy. Nice to see the Birds have worldwide fan base. My best story about worldwide fan base, I was walking to the Colosseum in Rome, and I was hammered. And I was with my wife of about a week at the time. We had been married a week. After everyone, because we got married in Italy, everyone that went over, pretty much everyone ended in Rome. So we ended up meeting up with people on our last day. So my brother-in-law's there, my wife's there. We're all having drinks. We're having a great time. And I sit down for pizza, and there's a guy next to me. And on his arm is a Phillies logo, an Eagles logo, and a Flyers logo tattooed on his arm. And I was like, oh, my God. And this guy in a very thick accent says, are you from Philly? And I was like, yes. And he goes, oh, I'm from, where was it? Sweden? Finland. He was from Finland. And he had those tattoos because he just was a big Philadelphia sports fan. I asked him how. He said he fell in love with the 70s Flyers. I interviewed the guy. We had him on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Right then and there, I sobered up, interviewed the guy for like 2 minutes, and then went on with my life. Henrik was his name, I believe. But yeah, fan base all over the world, man. Jason A., good morning. How about Casty? What a win last night. In honor of Casty, I don't know if you guys noticed, in honor of Casty, I did not button the second button. I kept it the plunging neckline to honor I would go 3 buttons, but come on, it's a family show. Sean Gillespie, keep it up, Phils. Really need that next Brave. Need the Brave series. Really need to beat the Braves. I think that means. I concur. Jason A, what's going on? April, ring the bell. April, I know you were waiting for that announcement yesterday. Thank you. Yes, once again, we'll be on the Seth Joyner YouTube channel, so make sure you like and subscribe to the Seth Joyner YouTube channel as well. For myself, Derek Gunn, and Seth Joyner, obviously, and 6abc.com. That's where you can catch the show. Seth Joyner Show channel on YouTube is the only channel you'll be able to catch it on YouTube. Sean Gillespie, this is crazy to become a fan after the frustrating year. Lost 3 games to Dallas. Oh, yeah, that is crazy to become a fan. Andy Reid really got on my nerves then. Yeah, I agree with you on that. As far as this is about Gabriel Bessa becoming an Eagles fan. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? James Alexander, good morning, Farzy. That was a great comeback last night. Should Sidney Jones be in the slot for James Bradbury since he's 6 to 8 weeks? Yeah. I saw somebody say this was the plan all along. Definitely not. This hurts the Eagles. It eliminates any chance to trade him anytime soon. Sean Kilrain. No, what baffles me and probably everyone, here we sign Walker to that contract and say, see you later, Eflin. Oh, that's a good point. Fuji! What's going on, Fuji? Good morning, happy Friday. Fars, good peeps. Fighting's taking care of business. Hells yeah. Sean Conrad, Lil Toots, gotta love her entrance. Yeah, just comes right in. Just comes right in. IBH, your take on Hurts is spot on. I wish you wouldn't mention that other guy's name. Still's my guy. What we got here? Charles Dead. Fangio soundbite reminds me of some Mortal Kombat sound effects. All right, now I need it again. Hold on. Oh my God! Get over here, like that. That's pretty funny. Beep bop bop. One more comment. Sean Coder, what happens to season ticket holders that can't make the Brazil trip? Do they sell their ticket or lose out on the money? That's a good point. I'll have to find that out. That's a good point. I don't know how that works. Do they? I don't know. Do they? I wonder if they get first crack at tickets in Brazil, and then if they can't go, do they not have to pay for that game? I don't know. That doesn't sound. Probably it gets credited to a future game. It's probably what it does. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hit me up later tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for reaction to your reaction to your Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Hopefully the Phillies go up 2-0 on the Braves tonight with Ranger Suarez taking on Ronaldo Lopez. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. Catch you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. If not, have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. No show Monday. See you guys.